My name is Aminatta Forna, and I'm a writer, an essayist, a memoirist, novelist, and I also hold the position of Chair of Poetics at Georgetown University. I had a session yesterday which was called Black History Matters. Really, we talked a great deal, as everybody does these days, obsessively about what's going on in America, about Trump, about what it means for relations between the majority and minorities in the country. On the panel was Bonnie Greer, who is an African American living in Britain, me, African British living in America, and Tim Phillips, who is a white American. So we had a good, and Oscar Guardiola Rivera, who is a Colombian living in Britain. So we had a multinational perspective on what's going on in the States. My session today is with Reem Kalani, the Palestinian musician and singer, and we're going to be interviewed by Razia Iqbal. I've known Razia for a while. She's interviewed me before. I first met her when she came to interview me for one of my novels. She's a fantastic chair, and I'm really looking forward to that discussion. Points of contact, what art is for, what it does, how it changes the world, we hope. Well, I came to the first ever Beyond Borders, and I think that was in 2010. So I've really, and then I've been away. Almost every time I've been living in the States or I've been travelling, Mark has asked me to come back. I haven't been able to come back. I'm here this year. I very much hope I'm here next year because I've got a new book coming out, and I'll be at the Edinburgh Festival as well. But to see how it's grown is just wonderful. And to see, Mark always had an idea that it was going to be a festival of thought, not a book festival. And it is actually, it's a festival of thought, it's a festival of music, it's a festival of culture, it's a festival of all the connection points between those arenas. I had the good fortune to be raised by a feminist, and that feminist was my father. And my father always taught me to aim very high. He wanted me to be a lawyer. He didn't just want me to be a lawyer, he wanted me to be Attorney General. I didn't want to be a lawyer, or I thought I did. Then I found literature, and that suits me much better. But he always wanted us all to aim very high. Now, I think what I didn't realise when I was growing up, I went to an all-girls school, it was a great environment. I think I thought the battle had been won. I think when I was 18, I thought the battle had been won. Actually, not just on gender, but on race too. I mean, how naive I was, but people talked about sexism and talked about racism as though these things were in the past. And I noticed a new generation of young women also talking about feminism as though it no longer matters, as though it no longer has relevance to their lives. And I do say, be very careful, and we are seeing it now, actually, along with, thankfully, a revival in feminism, because we see how easily rights can be taken away from you. If you do not safeguard your rights, if you are not ever vigilant, and if you don't realise that somebody wants to take power away from you so that they can have it themselves, you are going to lose. In 1979, I lived in Iran. I was 14 years old. I lived in Iran. My stepfather was a UN diplomat there, and I witnessed firsthand the Iranian Revolution. And although I wasn't really able to make sense of what I was seeing at that time, I have continued to return to that experience, the experience of Sierra Leone as well, and review what was happening and how a state decided piece by piece to remove the rights of its citizens. So I learnt that lesson very early on, and just because you live in a Western country, in a Western democracy, doesn't mean you are immune either. I think that is the single piece of advice I would give to anybody today, and particularly young women, is look out for yourself, and things can go backwards as well as forwards.